What's up, guys? I'm here doing another deck profile. This time it is Sylvans. I saw these guys when when they were first introduced. I thought they were really cool. They kind of reminded me of The Legend of Zelda, the Great Dooku Tree and whatnot. So I decided I'd give them a try. Yeah, I know it's a really weird reason, but trust me, I, I, I have a really weird mind when it comes to things like that. I've been a Legend of Zelda fan since it came out. Anyway, uh, we'll start up. 3 Sylvan Hermitry. Everybody seems to think he's clogged at 2, but you know what? I don't run my deck like everybody else does, because my deck, unlike everybody else's, seemingly, my deck doesn't have an issue with excavating. So he's perfectly fine at 3, because he almost always gets excavated. And the few times he does end up in your hand, it's not going to matter, because you'll have a way to deal with it. 2 Sage Koya. I would run 3, but I don't have a third, and I don't currently have a space for it. I'll probably take out one of my Guardiokes for it, but I don't know. He's awesome, lets you get your spells and traps back, can spell summon himself. Next up, 2 Guardioke, one of the monsters that I never see anybody running. For those of you who don't know what he does, which I'm pretty sure is a lot of you, he puts a plant on top of your deck when he gets excavated, which means you can get your Lone Fire Blossom back, you can get back your Lotus Swain, not Lotus Swain, your Sage Koya, whatever the heck else plant you need to be either draw next turn or excavate this turn. He's just amazing. I don't know why nobody uses him. Lotus Swain, he's your Pot of Avarice of the deck, except he puts them on the bottom of the deck, and also he can excavate a number of cards up to the number of cards your opponent controls, so I don't see why nobody runs him. Next up, 3 Flower Knight. People seem to think he's cloggy at 3, so they only run like one of him, but I absolutely love him at 3. He searches out any Sylvan card, and on top of that, excavates when he's normal summoned, so what's not to love there? Next up, we have Sylvan Como Shrimo. This guy destroys spells and traps, and he can excavate 5. Once again, people seem to find him better at 2, but I think he is perfectly fine at 3, because 2000 defense monster, I almost always start with him, so if nothing else, you can just set him to start and just watch things unfold from there. Next up, 3 Sylvan Peacekeeper, a monster reborn of the deck, pretty simple. 2 Sylvan Princess Sprout, she's absolutely awesome. She's your copy plant of the deck, plus she can tribute herself to excavate the top part of the deck. She's just absolutely wonderful. 2 Sylvan Marshal Leaf, do understand I would be running 3, but I don't own a third one. People think he's clogged at 3. No, he is absolutely wonderful at 3. He can excavate 2 when he's up to 2 when he's normal summoned, and he zaps a monster when he's excavated, which, Lord knows, we need that in this current format. Here's another thing that most people don't do. I run both Princess Sprout and Copy Plant, because all the level control you're going to need for days. Copy Plant not only copies levels, so he'll give you whatever Xyz monster you need, but he's a tuner, so he can be used for synchro summoning. Next up, we have the 2 Lone Fire Blossoms, for obvious reason. I run 1 Cherub Sprout, because Cherub Sprout can get to your copy plants, or your Princess Sprout if you're in a really desperate situation and need to excavate the top card of your deck. A lot of people seem to think Cherub Sprout isn't all that great, but I absolutely love it. I'd run 2 if I had room for it. Next up, Spore, because Spore, he gets your level plays off. Yes, my deck is very monster heavy, accept that fact. And it's why my deck doesn't have an issue excavating, because there are so many of them. Next up, 2 Sylvania. You don't need 3. The deck can search it just fine. 3 is, back when I had 3 of this in the deck, I always ended up drawing 2 of them in my starting hand, and I couldn't stand it. I put it down to 2, found out the search power was just fine, and it works perfectly at 3, or at 2. Next up, 3 Sylvan Charity. Yes, I understand one of those is a proxy. I have a friend in Walla Walla that is going to be trading me a Sylvan Charity, so I have access to a third one. I just can't get it at the moment. It's your draw power, it's your setup thing in your hand that you don't want in your hand. Next up, Soul Charge. Obvious reasons. Set up your plays. This card is usually the end-all be-all card in this deck. I almost always start with it. It's kind of funny. Next up, Miracle Fertilizer. 2 of them. I would run a 3. A little skeptical about that. 3 at one point, and it seemed to be I drew too many of it at the beginning of the duel when there were no plants in the grave. So we'll see what happens. Next up, 2 Archfiend's Oath. I absolutely love this card. My friend uses it in his Gishki deck, and so I figured I'd give it a try ever since I found out that it was errata to excavate. It's Owl Size effect once per turn at the cost of 500 life points, so I figured why the heck not. It's been an absolutely wonderful card. Next up we have, for the traps, we have 3 Sylvan Blessing. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need a bunch of deep prisons. You don't need a bunch of torrential tributes. You don't need compulsory evacuation devices. You just don't. Alright, so next up for the extra deck, since I'm running out of time, 2 Alsai. He does your searching, or not searching, but he can excavate the top card of your deck and then get rid of your opponent's field. 1 Aurea. Everybody looks over this card, but she is wonderful to have in the deck. She can, if nothing else, she can rearrange the top cards of your deck, which is absolutely wonderful. 1 Slacker Magician, 1 Fortune Tune for those few times where you just need defense. Arc, because it's Arc. Wind Up Arsenal Zenmayo, and number 61 Volcasaurus for your rank 5 engine. Rank 5 engine is absolutely wonderful. And since you can go for rank 7, number 11 Big Eye, because why the heck not? The rank 8 Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. Heliopolis. And then for the synchros, I know everybody says it doesn't work, but Catastor is absolutely wonderful. Black Rose, since it's a plant deck, and Black Rose. Crimson Blader, because Crimson Blader's fucking awesome in this format, and Leo. Anyway, once again, you recognize the fact that I don't build my deck like everybody else does, but it works absolutely beautifully. You get your common cries. Anyway, you have a good day. Later.